call the council meeting of September 20th, 21 at 5:30 to order. Mr. Jimmy, invitation, please.
Dear Lord, we come to you in prayer, just thank you for this another day. Pray that you be with this council members, dear Lord, as they make decisions for this city, that be all pleasing in their sight, dear Jesus. We ask these things in your blessed name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll say.
discussion. All in favor? Motion carried. Mayor's report, Candace is gonna be late. She's on her way, but she's gonna be late.
President's report.
Yes, and I don't have anything at this time. Attorney's report,
I don't have anything.
clerk.
Okay, Tracy needs direction on the COVID pay. Did you want to use admin pay and her refund the, leave that she took from herself and Jason and Chad Taylor, and how did you want to do that? She needs direction on it.
Well, at the last meeting, we discussed finding out how.
They have done away with it, so there's, that will not work.
So,
It was gonna be,
the mayor was here, we should know more about the new funds that are coming in, because we're gonna have to see if that's something, and we had discussed it, if that was something that we could use part of that.
well, they said that the, the 12:30, yeah, it was 12:31, she called Department of Labor to see if they extended it, but they have not, she has not heard
She doesn't know
back.
that,
Yeah.
but what we had also discussed was seeing where we could get the funds. from.
Okay, she was just, make sure we remember to give her some direction on that when she gets back, so she knows whether to refund the sick leave she took from the employees, how to do that. Also, I've given Jason the shut-off list for the morning, there's 12 names on it. Edel Clark came in the other day and she thanked you very much for the trees, that she's very, very pleased with getting those trees down off the easement. And other than that, everything's holding together, I guess it is. I know I'm holding it together. I haven't heard anything from the fire chief, nor recreation. And Jason, he had a leak this morning in, one of the pet customers drove across their yard, and pulled the pipe out of the meter and it caused themselves to leak. I don't know when they drove across, if it was yesterday. Jason said it looked like it had been leaking a while. So they had to, and it broke off a valve off the meter, so they fixed that, and that's all put back together. That was this morning. I got the call about it, and then he just now left to have to go fix the leak. Other than that, everything's been running pretty smoothly.
We'll go back to the mayor's report when she gets here. Have you heard anything from Mr.
No, ma'am, I have not heard from Mr. Gardner today.
Public participation, Mr. Gary Owens.
You doing that?
I'm here again about the same thing, all the abandoned houses and the trash. Have y'all put any thought into it?
Well, your issue is you have ordinances on the books, but you don't have a mechanism to enforce your code. So you'll need a code enforcement officer.
And well, I was telling you when you were here at our last meeting, and I wish Candace was here because she could explain it too. We have went and met with the county once, and we're working on it, but the first meeting that we had with them was over the animal control and the other stuff, the code enforcement. I told you we went a different way with the animal control part of it because the expense was just too much. The county's swamped with that. They are also having issues with code enforcement, but we're gonna talk to him about it some more, and like I say, Candace is coming in. We have met with Trey Hawkins and a couple more up there to try to see what we can do as going into an agreement, and I know the attorney worked on some stuff prior about that too, because it's my understanding, and you may can explain it better, but it's my understanding that when we go in with the county, if that's what we do, then they want us to go along with the same ordinances and guidelines that they have, so we have to adopt that
Correct.
in order to do it. So,
When will y'all meet with the county again, find out anything?
I don't know, but I'll be happy to set up something with them, and I'll get with the mayor.
No, appreciate it.
So, on our, in the code enforcement stuff, according to what I've looked at and some of the things that I've seen, that all that the council has to do is send us a letter. And then after that letter, a certified letter goes out, then they have 90 days to clean it up. If they don't clean it up, then the city can overtake what's there.
Yeah, but
We have to have a code enforcement officer
have
of
to
our
have an
own to do
officer.
that, or either we
Why
have
can't
to
the council do
go
it?
with the county.
we can't do
So,
that. No, we have to have an officer, we
and
cannot.
you all haven't established, a mechanism for, carrying out due process, for these violations. So you have to have notice of the violation, and the person has to have a hearing, before either a magistrate, a hearing officer, the county judge, or, a code enforcement board, or a nuisance board. So y'all haven't taken that next step of establishing how does the violator, have their day in court, their hearing. Y'all have never done that as long as I've been here.
We had.
The county uses a
very-
special magistrate.
So more or less, the ordinances ain't what the flip.
Well, the law is there, we just haven't.
We can't enforce it.
That's when
We had
that's
a
when we all
code enforcement
discussed
board.
going with the county. That's
Gary
what the
knows.
first meeting was about, was because of the expense to the city, was joining in with the county, and that's what you had been working on
Yes.
with the county, and that's why Candace and I went, and Clark went and met.
We
And
had a
just
code
need to
enforcement
follow
board
up
at
with
one
that and
time.
see if we can.
We
And
did have
in the
one.
last year and a half, Shipley, Bonifay, and, Jackson County have all gotten rid of their code enforcement boards, since we can't get volunteers, can't keep volunteers. Shipley's finally disbanded theirs because we couldn't even get a quorum. We had volunteers, but we couldn't get them to come to the meeting.
So they're just letting the junk go, just
No,
like.
but you
No,
don't
they're-
understand, these people were threatening, we had a board, Gary knows, the people was threatening, you come on my property, guess what's gonna happen to you?
That's where you call that man right there.
I don't know, but I'm just
But I'm with
serious.
Chad, the thing is, if we can't
You know,
volunteer
and
get
that's why the
somebody,
board said, oh no, we're not gonna be a part of this. They just let it, they all dropped off because they was, they
Well,
said it
and that's
wasn't,
why I
we had
thought
one
we
at
had
one
all
time, we
decided
did
to
it
try to
all.
work something out with the county, but when we met with the county, they were
They
experiencing
wasn't doing that.
high expense and trying to work things out themselves at the time,
So there's no, there's a state statute that governs code enforcement, but there's no specific criteria for, qualifications for code enforcement officer. So y'all could appoint any of your employees to be a code enforcement officer. You could appoint any of yourselves to be a code enforcement officer, your mayor. But there's no, minimum criteria for that. But then you have to decide how are you gonna, have the hearing. So Chipley's moving to a special magistrate, the county uses a special magistrate. In Bonifay, their cases are going to the county judge. In Jackson County, those cases are going to the county judge. There's been one case where, the county commissioners sat in their, they have an ordinance that provides for a nuisance abatement board, which is a little different than a code enforcement board. But that's where the county commissioners themselves sit and listen to the hearing, and it's more complicated, it's more expensive because you have to have two attorneys, because by state law, the county attorney can't serve as the prosecuting attorney to bring the nuisance case. So that's what everybody's doing right now. We was the only other one, and we're in the process of adopting the county's ordinances right now, because the county's gonna take over their code enforcement. So everybody is struggling with this. Everybody's struggling to find, the right mechanism, but it's a long, tedious, expensive process, to clean up your community.
Well, how come big cities, they'll put a lien on your property? They give you so many
But they
days
don't
to
know
get
county.
your stuff
The
up,
county
and they will put a
probably
lien on your
You
property,
can
I
do
know.
that, you can do that too, we can even adopt an ordinance that provides for, that lien to be collected on the tax bill.
Mhm.
The next year, there's a process for us to do that. The earliest that you could do that would be the 2022 tax year, and we would have to get that adopted before, January, if that's something that you wanna consider. But absolutely, you already have the authority, to do that. But you gotta have that mechanism for due process, that notice and the opportunity to be heard before you, start assessing fines. Or if you want to be able to go onto the property and just clean up, whatever
Send them the
that
bill.
is, then you send them the bill, but we also record the lien against the property. And,
What about vehicles in the middle of the road? We have a problem with that on that particular, where, I mean, I thought, the picture that she brought, I thought she was behind the vehicle. Actually, the vehicle's sitting in the middle of the road. She had to go around on the grass to get around it.
if it's in the road, can't y'all take
It's
care
in the
of that?
middle of the road, but unless you gotta go parking in any municipality, it's legal to park on the right-hand side of the road.
So that-
Unless it's posted.
That's another thing that we can
It parks
address.
right in the road.
No, he parks
Yeah,
it.
that's-
He's been told before though by the sheriff's department to move the vehicles out of the middle of the road. He moves it and then moves them right back the next day.
I'd go put a no parking sign there till it does it again. I know a fella to take care of it.
Cause a lot of times in DC, I know you couldn't even park on the grass down in Pinellas County. You could not park on the
Right.
grass in front of your
Yeah.
house, and it's your grass, but you could not park on that grass. Because if you did, come vehicles on the grass in your front yard,
I appreciate y'all
Let
taking a
you
look
know
at that,
that
but
you're
I'll
gonna
bring
get
you
a
up
lien
some
on
other
it.
things for you. Your lift stations are not being locked, they need to be locked.
what,
Your lift stations are not being locked,
what needs to be done?
they always need to be locked.
It's supposed to be locked.
Your gate behind the sewer plant is not,
They're not locked.
ain't locked. Somebody could go in.
Behind the sewer plant.
You can lose 2 lawnmowers. Called, asked, last meeting about 2 mattresses get picked up over from the church.
I've got a work order for them to be picked up tomorrow and be put in the dumpsters by the work crew.
Takes 2 weeks to get 2 mattresses picked up.
We had to wait for a dumpster and they delivered them Friday.
But you can move them out of view of the church where people come on Sundays and look. That's all I got. I do appreciate what y'all do. And I'll be back next meeting.
Nah,
Appreciate it, Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Gary.
You're all right, Mr. Ryan.
Just so I'm clear, I closed this meeting before I opened the public hearing, then I reopened this meeting when we're done with
So, for a resolution, we had to do that last time because, you were in a workshop. So
Okay.
we had to close the workshop where you couldn't take a vote and open a special meeting where you could take a vote. So you don't need a public hearing on these.
Well, I've got the public hearing paperwork in my hand, so do
I do think you still have to do a roll call vote though,
okay.
for the taxes.
So, I'm just gonna go along with the paperwork.
That's fine, it won't hurt anything.
I open this public hearing of the City Council of Vernon, Florida on the matter of Resolution 21-174, a resolution of the City of Vernon, Washington County, Florida, adopting the final levying of an ad valorem tax to the City of Vernon for fiscal year 2021 through 2022, and providing for an effective date. The FY 2021-2022 operating millage rate is 4.9442 mills, which is more than the rollback rate of 4.7345 by 4.43%. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak out on this resolution? Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing on the matter of the resolution 20-174. I need a roll call vote. Joey?
Yes.
Ms. Gwen?
yes.
Ms. Laura's not here. Chad?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion passed at 5:46 p.m. I'm gonna open the public hearing for the City of Vernon, Florida on the matter of Resolution 21-175, Resolution of the City of Vernon, Washington County, Florida, adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2021-2022, and providing for an effective date. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak as to this resolution? Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing on the matter of Resolution 20-175. Need a roll call vote. Joey?
Yes.
Ms. Gwen?
Yes.
Ms. Flores not here. Chad?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion carried. Time of 5:47. Now open the council meeting, September 20th, 2021. Motion to approve $278.06 adjustment to account 1105 estimated was too high.
Yeah, it estimated there was a leak at the business last year, and when it estimated it, it rolled it over to where the leak, when the leak bill was going through, and so it estimated it higher than it should have, than their average.
This is the Vernon Express,
Yes, ma'am.
and it estimated, it's not estimated every month. so-
No, it was estimated because it was underwater that month.
Okay.
When it estimates, it grabs a number from another time.
Do you have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Number 4, motion to approve attorney's hourly increase to $175 per hour. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
A motion to approve the homecoming parade of October 15th, 2021 at 1 p.m. The route and the detour has been provided in our packet.
You have copies of the route in your packet.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Make motion to approve.
Second, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And when I said opposed, I'm not saying opposed, Michelle, I'm just calling it out. just so you-
Understand, ma'am.
Okay. Number 6, motion to approve the GPR purchase for $13,850 from PowerTel Utility Products Inc. That is also in our paperwork and has been discussed repeatedly.
Yes.
He says no.
Well, and this was the money budgeted.
Yeah, this was already budgeted, we put it in there.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Number 7, motion to approve the FMIT quote of $71,407 for general and workers' compensation insurance.
It's $10,000 less than the other one we had.
We have to have it, so what we're gonna do,
It's, Tracy said it's a much better package.
we have to have it.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Is everything that we need in this one like the other one with the
Yes, ma'am.
$10,000?
It's a much better package with, and a better price.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to approve $500 to cemetery committee to remove a dead tree, and let me just say that, I will be abstaining, and I explained as to why at the last meeting, but I'll say it again for those that may not have been here. My husband's company was one of the ones that gave her a quote, so I have my paperwork ready to submit.
I make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Motion carried with back to abstaining. Does anybody have anything?
I got one thing. The other night during the football game, we had some issues with parking. For as long as I can remember, there was no parking signs that the city, I guess, provided up against the highway right there. the signs are actually pulled up, road in the woods,
Where?
at the football field. In front of the football field on the highway, between the block wall and the woods.
So they're on the wood side.
They're on the wood side. We need to get those signs put back up. Last Friday night, there was a school bus, and it was our school bus, Washington County school bus, parked with one lane of traffic, and you just can't get through there whenever football game.
On Dawkins Street, sir, are you talking
Yeah,
about
on
on Dawkins?
Dawkins
I'm
Street.
writing it down to.
On Dawkins Street.
So you saying the signs are in the woods?
Yeah, they're actually laying in the woods.
The one that was by the wall?
The ones that was on the wood side,
On the wood side.
yes. But we need to put some on the wall side and on the wood side,
That's too narrow.
because it's just too narrow for cars to be parked in. That was the issue that I had. I had to move the school bus, and then it opened it up through there, but still with cars and kids running through there, somebody's gonna get hurt over there. So I wonder if somebody hadn't got hurt already.
I got two things before we close, it's just quick things. School buses on the back street, are they allowed or not? Empty school buses coming from the school, they cut through, the back street.
The back street.
Church.
Church.
Church Street. 3 of them. Larry Pippen called me first, I went over there. Next day, 3 of the buses, instead of coming full route, they cut through. Empty buses with a few kids on them. They ain't coming all the way. So I ain't stopped them yet, but I was gonna ask the council. I see it no different than a semi or nothing like that. There's no heavy equipment, but I was gonna ask y'all.
They're not dropping kids off.
No, they just drive them through, they just cut
They
through.
cut through there, the bomb field, they cut across,
So they don't have to deal with the traffic.
Well, we stopped all the other heavy vehicles. I would say if they were dropping somebody off, obviously we
Yeah, I
can't.
know, I
We
understand
can't stop
that.
that.
No, but if,
Well, they may be going to the elementary school, but yeah, they're not, there's not a bus stop there. Cause I know 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
they're
where
coming
I'm
from the
pulling up-
elementary school. and
I'm
going-
pulling up 279 and they're blocking traffic waiting to turn in because there's cars sitting there on Church Street to turn out.
well, to clarify, they're not on the new pavement on Church Street. They're not coming across.
Yes,
there
ma'am. In the morning when I come to work,
Yeah,
they're turning on the Church Street to go, and then going to the bus
all
barn.
they're doing is shortcut, what they're doing, 3 of them. Now, you know, I don't know who's driving.
Looks like they're coming from the middle school to elementary school and they're just using Church Street to jump across.
The ones not the ones I'm talking about, I'm behind them in the morning.
Okay.
And Larry called me about it, and I said, Larry, I just told him, I said, truthfully, I don't know. I said, I'll ask the council, and I'm gonna ask y'all last meeting, because he called me twice, and didn't know if I found out, because he's seen them. Then I went over there, and 3 of them, there's 3 of the buses I know cut through. They don't stop. I know there's one has to go on that road to drop kids off. I'm assuming there's kids on that road. But,
They're still doing.
but anyway, I was gonna ask y'all about it. So, you got citizens,
Kids on that road, is
they might not be, I know most of the people, I don't know if there's kids on
Yeah,
there.
there's some over there. They get off and go to the house, the trailers, across from the haircut place.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, but I
one
thought
more
they-
issue,
No, that's
Michelle, I know the council and they might have told you, I appreciate you picking up the slack in the city. I know you ain't been in, or doing a lot for the clerk, but Michelle, Tracy's been gone more or less, a little over 2 weeks. I know. And,
this is, I think it's our meeting.
and I appreciate it.
My
man.
fourth meeting.
You filling in,
That's right. You've been doing it now for 4 meetings.
so
I
I appreciate it.
I want to add something about heavy traffic. This past couple weeks, we've got a dump truck. A couple people, this has come from a resident, looking the other day. They're parking their dump trucks loaded back here on these side streets. They're coming here and using McFadder and the new part of the court here, going down to McFadder and then going back. I don't know exactly where they're at, somewhere down there by Armstrong, but they're parking and carrying up the edge of the road and stuff, and making, mud holes and stuff like that, and one of it's got affected somebody's driveway. And I was watching the camera the other day, and it's a dump truck. It goes back there. It's only back there like 10-15 minutes, full of gravel and stuff. Comes back out.
Where's he pouring the gravel?
somewhere back in here, he's going back, but he's loaded with gravel. It's like he's taking his lunch and driving his truck to the house, and these are big old heavy loaded dump trucks with gravel. That's a heavy truck. And these roads are already in disrepair.
But that's the issue too, is that everybody is using this.
Not
It's
just Church Street, this is Court, McFadder, Armstrong.
Well, I know the end of this one is bad because everybody's using it to come to the red line.
That was bad
They
before.
couldn't do.
Yeah, it was, that's what I'm saying, it was bad before, but now it's
They
worse
couldn't
because,
do it.
I'm using it.
They couldn't do.
But I just wondered if y'all wanna look into something about dump trucks that aren't delivering something, they're going back there every day and,
Do we have a sign?
no, I don't know what your ordinances are back on this side of the
No,
house.
The thing about that is we may need to look into that before.
Cause they're parking partway on the road and partway off the road and they're,
Somebody that is working, and
Well, if we don't have a sign, like.
that's what I'm saying, I mean, we
supposed
don't.
to have a sign.
they're not, they live back here and they're driving dump trucks.
Well, if they live back there and they drive a dump truck, ain't a whole lot we can do about it.
But the dump trucks aren't their personal, they belong to the company.
If that's no different than.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know, the resident came up here the other day to complain about it because it's tearing up where they have to turn in to go to their driveway and stuff like that.
So is the dump truck turned into their driveway?
It's parking in the grass and stuff and tearing up the edge of the road and stuff, and it's a dump truck's big, and these lots aren't real big back here.
There was an issue about that, several years ago with an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, remember? But he lived there.
And
Well,
he
this
lived
one is
there.
good.
He lived there.
There's two of them back there.
And so I'm not gonna tell anybody what they can drive home. I mean,
But that man lived there, and so he took his truck home every night. And
Yeah, it's not, well, like I said, it's not their truck, it's the company's truck.
But the people
But
was
that doesn't
complaining
matter if
early
the
in the
company's
morning,
got them
because
driving
we
the
get
truck.
I'm
out
just
there
passing on
and
what the
started
resident
up.
asked. The resident came.
We have to have signs, I think, too, that says no living, like on Pompeii and some of the other.
well, and I also think that was something we didn't have to vote on except for the ones that we've already put out.
Except the ones like Pompeii and, church, they have them, but we don't have them no place else.
And we do, this particular road is fixing to be fixed
Yeah, so we could put it there.
with grant money, so that maybe something we
Good
want
sign.
to address at that time like we did with Church Street, but other than that, we can't tell people
Which it doesn't do any good, cause they still,
what they can drive.
they
whether-
wait till Sunday morning when they know Sheriff Cruz is not around on Sunday
Well,
morning.
that- going back to the buses, the only reason.
And they
that I-
know, they could, I'm sitting right there looking at them on the Sunday, on the Sunday mornings, that's when they have all kinds of, I seen one of those car things that has all the cars on them, going up Pompeii.
Well, and the only reason I said that we probably, and I don't know if the attorney would agree or not, the only reason I said if the buses, we told big trucks to stay off Church Street, we established that, we put the signs up. If the buses don't have any reason to be on Church Street, then I think we could tell them so, but as far as telling people on all the streets that that's not been established, what they can drive home, I don't think, I'm not going to.
We dealt with this a couple of years ago
Yeah.
in Shipley, and I can't remember exactly, what we did, but I wanna say that we had an ordinance that prohibited heavy trucks on certain streets. And there was an issue with a guy driving a semi truck to his house, and we were able to enforce that. I don't know if you're comfortable with doing that, but
I think he worked with Jerry Southland on the station and he parked at the elementary school every day.
yeah.
And still parking on Church Street. He was down there at Kevin Peterson's, what trailer is, down across from the church right there. He was tearing it up, cause it's wet there now, it stays wet there. And, I think he worked for Jerry Southland, yeah, he made him park. Talked to Jerry Southland, cause he owned across the elementary school, he parked it there. Which they park there now all the time.
That's not the only one though that's parked that's damaged the roadway, and we've not said anything about it.
Yeah.
Do your ordinances cover damage to streets?
Not that I'm aware of. That would be something you'd have to look at.
It'd just be covered under like a wear and tear though, I mean, using the road. I mean, really truly, that's getting kind of nitpicky, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, let's get
It's
Oh,
to
like over
reality.
your, a culvert, they should be responsible for that.
If the highway's not picking up, and the base is up underneath that highway's not picking up to support a semi truck, then they shouldn't be building roads. I mean, I've seen semi trucks going over wood bridges that the county's put up, and time, you're gonna have a little bit of dirt that comes out from around the edge of the wood and stuff, but I've never seen a semi truck destroy it. I mean, I've seen, they cut timber over there off of some property. They went across that little bridge over there on Rock Hill Church Road over there, I bet 1,000 times, all the number across there. That's a wooden bridge. I don't know.
Anyway, that's all I have.
Does anybody else have anything?
Can I ask a couple of questions? For getting the tree removed, what do I do? When the tree's been removed, do I get a bill from the person that did it and present it to City Hall, and City Hall gives me a check for them?
I'm
What?
gonna have her email me, have the company email me the bill, and I'll make sure Tracy gets it.
Okay.
info@vernonfl.com. That's my email address.
Okay. And when will the GPR be purchased? Now that y'all have approved it finally?
After Tracy gets back.
It's a several week, hold on.
Yep.
I think 2 or 3 weeks delivery.
Okay, so they have to make them first? Is that the
No,
story? They don't have them in stock?
I don't know, I just think when I got the quote, there was if you look at the quote, it'll tell you. It might be
Yes,
more
I
than
do.
that.
Okay, and 2 more questions. Where is the parade gonna start, homecoming parade on October 15th? Is it at the school where it usually does?
Yes, ma'am.
Across from elementary? And there was a neighborhood meeting held last week about a business that has purchased the old SAP property up here, but the neighborhood meeting for Vernon happened in Shipley at 7 o'clock at night. That's not what I call a neighborhood meeting, number one. I was hoping Trey was gonna be here so I could address that with him. But what is the business that's going there? Do y'all know?
We don't know, ma'am. They don't.
What they presented to us when they came to the last meeting was a picture, an overview, and told
We
about the
can
space
speculate, but-
that it was gonna be, but they did not tell us.
Where at? Where's it gonna be?
At- It's the SAP.
So they weren't
The original
required
line.
to do that?
No,
It's where Lottie and Alex
On the
Sapp used to
original
live.
traffic light.
Until it's all approved, they don't have
At the
to.
They
original
don't have to
What it
disclose
is.
that.
Where the,
It's not all
Across from the
approved
horse.
yet.
Oh, okay,
It's
right
a
there.
realtor.
Come on, where that old big house was?
Where
No,
Marshall's-
no,
Marshall
not in
Acton
Aunt
is.
Bell's house. It's across the street where Lottie and Alex Sapp live.
That house
Yes,
used to
ma'am.
be?
Yes.
It's actually where Barrett lives now.
Well, Miss Marshall.
No,
lives
Barrett,
there.
no, he lived
No,
up
it's
there.
in front of them.
Barrett,
No,
that's
it's
his
not.
brother.
No, they sold them the house.
It's all-
They sold the house too.
All over.
They're in negotiations.
Yeah, they're in negotiations, that's why they won't say what it is, because until everything's approved, then they'll announce what the store is gonna be.
Uh,
Oh, I saw
I
them
was working at the
surveying there.
church this past week, and they were there surveying
I saw them surveying too,
and
and I was
putting
wondering
down
what they were doing.
stakes.
Jimmy, it's not in this paper that we
It's all in the
got.
planning stage.
Okay, and y'all know, I guess, about the Dollar Tree and that's gonna go up there on the corner?
Nobody said anything
Think
about
about
that
that,
other
yeah.
than the deputy clerk said that they had been approached about somebody.
Somebody had, I believe it might be the same thing, and they just moved locations due to, in and out access to.
Well, would you like to know what I know?
I said it was.
Yeah, come on, tell me.
Okay,
on
because
with
it's
it.
next door to my brother. They met with my brother this week, and I don't think that has anything to do with this.
That's good, we get two businesses.
That's what I'm saying.
So do you know what
Okay.
that business is gonna be?
Yes, it is going to be we have a Dollar General, what's the other?
Dollar Tree.
Family Dollar.
Family Dollar.
Dollar Tree Combination Family Dollar.
Yeah.
They're gonna sell cold stuff, milk and stuff like that, along with it, but not, fresh produce. Where the house is between my brother and Kevin and Lynn, that house is gonna be torn down. That's where the driveway is gonna be into the place. They are gonna come in with a bulldozer, tear down my brother's fence and take down all the trees, all the pecan trees and everything. Then they're gonna put a privacy fence around my brother's place. And once they finish construction, which they plan to start the 1st of January, then they're gonna, they have to landscape. That's it, that's all I know.
I know what you was talking about, Miss Rhonda, and I ain't said nothing. Side of Jimmy, I know what's going in there. They just wait for the contract to go through. Miss Laverne's house has been sold. I know that.
Laverne's house has been sold?
Yeah, they gonna
They
leave,
got the trailer up
they gonna
on it.
leave it,
Praise the
but
Lord,
they
yes,
ain't,
her trailer's there.
they ain't signed the contract yet.
So that's gonna be two places
It's
right
been
there.
sold.
And what's
I
that
know
gonna
the
be?
company
So
bought
three
it, but
places here
anyway,
in Vernon.
anyway, back to what you said, it's put on Facebook, and I didn't comment on it. They said the city approved, that's where they got it wrong, the city didn't approve nothing.
We
Because
don't
there's
know
steps
that.
the city has to go through, just like the county, zoning the property and all. The people come to the city, they didn't say nothing what was being put in, they give us a map. I looked at it, and looked at it, and looked at it. I went back and looked at it, and see if there was anything. All it does is got the designer and the engineer on top of it.
Oh, yeah,
It tells how much land they bought.
Certified mail to the
Miss that.
church. I had to sign for it, they sent that mail.
But then they come back on Facebook, people did, and said, well, the city of Vernon approved, they might be putting a bar and all in the city. You ought to see what they
We
put
don't,
out.
but
And
we
the city
haven't
don't know
done it.
what they
And
put
we've not
in
done
the city.
anything except told them to go to the county and then come
Yeah.
back to us.
We did, the city hadn't approved nothing. They just, that's the first time anyone, even the people that bought Jimmy's ain't come to the city. I mean, side of Jimmy's, but I know what's going there. But, until they signed the papers and all, but like I said,
Yeah, I was
that's,
kind of
that's people
surprised that they
talking.
brought across the street when James Laverne's was bigger and already cleared basically, except for the house. But theirs is sold too, huh? Oh, I wish it was a Publix.
But anyway.
Okay,
Well, you know.
sorry to make
Rhonda,
y'all stay
We
longer.
have that says whenever a residence is sold on 79 now, it automatically becomes commercial.
If they change the zoning, yep.
No, it's already changed. If I sell my property on 79 right now, it becomes, once I sell it, it becomes, commercial.
That's the purpose of the future land use map.
That's that future land.
It's been designated as commercial and it will change automatically.
It'll automatically change to commercial.
You ready, Jimmy?
Does anybody have any?
Hey, I'm getting ready too.
I'm sorry,
Move
Jimmy,
on now.
we went through your rec, you weren't here, so do you have something?
I do. I don't know if y'all can vote on it or not, but at least I wanted to put it in front of y'all so y'all have it, and maybe y'all can give me your opinion. I got 2 background checks back. I texted them you the last meeting, but I think you confirmed that it was y'all couldn't vote on them, periods, and a couple of y'all weren't here. So I wanted to bring them to y'all's attention. I'm not going to say the coach's name, so in this case, I'm just going to call him Coach 1. He's got a misdemeanor battery in the last couple of years, and then 3 driving without a license. And so the 3rd offense is a habitual offender, which gave him a felony. And so our board met and discussed it. It had nothing to do with the kids. It had nothing to do with anything that involved us. So we were close, but we voted that it would be okay. But I wanted to bring it to y'all for the insurance purposes. If you knew if there was a reason we couldn't have him, but I wanted to
I
give y'all
believe the
opinion.
battery
The
charge.
battery.
The battery charge will
It don't matter against
It's
battery.
That
Misdemeanor-
insurance, yeah.
Misdemeanor battery throws
It's
them out?
battery,
Now,
pure
it's
battery.
battery period.
Okay. Okay.
I
And
think,
then,
I don't know.
then
Well,
that,
that depends on the way that we set it up.
It's been
And
so
I don't
many
know
years
how
since I
long-
looked at it.
Battery can keep you from getting a minute job. It's just a battery is
Well, I
a battery
understand that,
because they
but I'm
kids
saying-
they.
I'm not talking on the legal standpoint.
Well, it's a
I'm just
simple
talking
battery.
about
What was it
council
simple? Was it
said.
domestic?
it's just a simple battery misdemeanor.
Look at the paperwork and see what it says, Michelle, on that.
What was the policy that we set up as far as the background checks?
Yeah,
Cause
we
it's been
years since
Years.
I looked at
And
those.
several years ago, it was very strict. And then we had pillars of the community that were trying to coach. This was like right when I started getting involved. and it kind of became a fuss because he had gotten in trouble several years ago, and we kind of loosened him up a little bit. As long as insurance didn't have a problem with it, I think was our guy.
So maybe,
I know there's been coaches that's been out there that's been in trouble before, that has it's been swept under and let them coach. So I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I mean, because simple battery is a fight in the parking lot.
I don't know that this is for certain the one that y'all adopted, but this was what I had drafted for you, was on misdemeanor violence offenses, which would include simple assault, battery, domestic violence, hit and run. They couldn't have had those charges within the past 7 years.
Okay. If that's active, then they're out. And then coach 2 that's all he had was a simple battery at the same time.
He had a battery? Was it misdemeanor or?
Misdemeanor.
within the last 7 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Like I said, I don't know for certain that that is exactly what you adopted, but that's what we drafted for you.
Okay, so I guess we need some time to see.
So you want to put a hold on him being out there, period, until we can confirm that?
Well, we have to vote on it, we can't deny it.
Okay.
I guess check on it, Michelle. I don't know what we adopted, it's been so long.
That's what I'm gonna say, it's had to be years.
What I drafted was an ordinance in, this is in January and February of 2017. I can see two different versions. That's why I said I can't guarantee that this is what you adopted because it looks like we did.
And it was, the one that you're talking about was before I was actually on council. I remember that person is still coaching, correct?
I know the one you're talking about.
Not because, but he wasn't stopped by the city.
He wasn't stopped in the city at that time.
And that was,
Yeah.
It was just that year. I don't think he even returned the next year. I believe that was baseball.
if I recall, those were more, that was more than a battery charge.
I think it was a vehicular manslaughter. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yes, that
It was.
Yeah.
And that
And it
one
didn't
was
even happen,
like,
it didn't happen in this state.
no,
It didn't even happen in this state.
but the city didn't
He was
stop him from
charged.
coaching either.
Huh?
The city didn't stop him from coaching because.
No, they didn't
he
because
had
it just got to be
big
very
basketball.
nasty.
Yeah.
You remember? Somebody did get killed.
All right, does anybody have anything else? You clear on what we're.
Last thing I had is we have a home game. I don't know if I told y'all or not. October 9th at the high school football field. It's an all-day event from 7 to 7. We'll be out there all day. We're gonna have the girls that won the pageants presented before our game. We have Crestview, Niceville, and Bonifay all coming in. 6 games, I think.
How did the pageant go?
Is it good? We lost a little bit, but we've got the crown still for next year, so technically maybe $50, and we'll be our crown to pay for next year. But so I think we were what -100 is about where we were at after paying the judges.
Is that a tournament October 9th?
That is a home football game.
Just a home football game?
Yes, ma'am.
For the little guys to watch on TV.
It's the only one.
It's our only one. And we only had the one team. So what they've done is they brought in Crestview, Bonifay, and Niceville, and they're going to play each other, and our team's going to play, and they made a whole day out of it, so we can get some concessions and gate fees out of it.
Does anybody have anything else? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
I couldn't vote anyway.